welcome back to Absolutely Marvel and DC. My name is Sith Lord Benny, that is Hassan, and that is Dylan. And today we're going to be talking about Superman and Lois, catching up to where we are right now. I just feel like doing this. I don't know why.
Yeah. I feel like Sith Lord Lightning. Oh, you're Bizarro Benny. You're not Sith Lord Benny. You're Bizarro Benny. And the theme of the episode, did you notice that Jordan was wearing a skirt? Like a black skirt. It looks awesome in the Bizarro world.
Yes,
I love that. In the in South by Southwest,
in the Bizarro world, they were all just the emo goth versions of themselves.
That's exactly what they were. Turns out they did some kind of con or something recently, and they all wore their Bizarro World like costumes before. Like they didn't do their hair or their makeup, but they wore the clothes themselves, and nobody knew what it was until now. They're like, okay, everyone's got some bold fashion choices on the Superman and Lois cast.
Interesting viral marketing there.
Mm-hmm. So as usual, I'm not a fan of recapping everything. We're just going to go into our opinions on it because we're here to review it and discuss it. We're not here to tell you what happened in it. You should have seen the show, but. I'm just the recaps always take too long. I'm not a fan of these recaps because
we got to talk about 2 episodes here. So
yeah.
I'll do the quickest recap. Well, Superman leaves the Bizarro world.
Yeah, so basically, I was going to say the plot for these
and then he comes back.
is that Superman has left. I don't know if we covered that episode or not, but we see what happens to the world without Superman. Then we see where Superman went, and he's on the Bizarro world where he meets the Bizarro son, John. We get to see John being cool and doing awesome stuff. We get to see a bunch of superpowered people. Big fights happen. We go back to the main planet. Over there, Superman is now dealing with, I've been gone. By the way, the villain I was chasing, I can't find him. So let's just go back to normal. My only complaint is that they did that. He chased John into the current modern day world and then was like, well, I can't find him.
Yeah, it's weird because like sometimes we'll just like be like, I can fly around the whole world and I can like find things, and sometimes you just can't do it, and there's never really a rhyme or reason as to why he can't, because he can hear everything.
Yeah,
so it's like, you think he could like he should be good at recognizing his own son's like speech patterns or like movement patterns or whatever. Like, he should have like the little. I actually like the noise they use whenever they're like making a signal noise that Superman or Jordan are listening to something, the do 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 or whatever. Yeah. That noise, I like it a lot. But hey, it's hack me plot purposes. Eventually, there's like Jonathan's appeared in Smallville, which is my favorite moment. He's just walking in the city, and Superman just looks at him.
Like with characters like this, that question is always going to come up of like with a character that's powerful who can basically do anything. It's like, you know, you have to settle eventually for. At the end of the day, it's just more interesting to have his powers not solve everything.
Yeah.
Because that's, you know, you can't, it's hard to write a story that persists for a long, it's like in One Punch Man. You can't really do much with that character, so they had to invent another character who can't kill everything in one punch to make that story.
Well, One Punch Man's entire shtick is that it was a joke on the concept that he should be able to defeat everything in one punch.
Yeah.
But I just want to clarify that real quick before everyone goes in the comments being like, Dylan, you just don't understand One Punch Man.
You watched it. What? No, I'm saying that if like in the case of Superman, like if we accept that Superman can solve everything just because he's Superman, then you would have to have other characters or some kind of spin on it.
Honestly, the problem even with the comics, I mean, outside of like All-Star Superman, they always try to find a reason why he can't just solve it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I will say this show's done a great job of that, though. I think overall, because I was a big Smallville fan growing up, like a huge Smallville fan, and I always wondered like what the stories would have been like with him as Superman. I did read the Smallville comic book run, and I assumed it wouldn't have been like that because it would have been on the CW. But this show does a great job of it, and the focuses are interesting. Like Lois has definitely she's like graded on me a little bit this season because I think her storyline has been mixed here and there, like her whole Lucy thing. But overall, like I like that it's Superman and Lois, and that we get a lot of like their family ongoing because it's kind of a believable family. Yeah. Like I don't know why, because they don't look alike. They don't look biologically related, but it's also like I thoroughly believe that these are his kids.
John looks like it could be Tyler Hoechlin's son.
You could make a case for it.
Yeah.
Jordan.
Maybe not with Lois.
I mean, to be fair, with like, Kryptonian DNA, Kryptonians don't reproduce normally like that. So who knows if
hack me bullshit. Let's do it. I love that. No, the acting, like all the actors are great. honestly think that there's very few characters. I think the actress who plays Natalie is a good actress, but she keeps getting like really bad material. She's being forced to be this like very angry person for no reason. Like instead of her primary
she's totally unreasonable in a show where every other character is like so satisfyingly reasonable.
Yeah.
It's like she's that's just like, I'm angry for no reason.
She always shows up and does that. Like, oh my God, why did you forget about mom? Like, what do you like?
That's fair, but give him a minute.
Yeah, let's tone down a couple minutes. Like, yes, I get it. He forgot her birthday or the anniversary or one of those dates, and I'm like,
death.
But at the same time, he's also been dealing with aliens and Kryptonians and an entire different planet. And you know what I forgot? You know what I forgot the other day? You know what I forgot? I'm going to New York next Wednesday, right? Mm-hmm. That's my birthday. I booked the whole trip, and the only reason I know it's my birthday is on my Facebook. It said your birthday's coming up.
That's like not an excuse. You're actually like, that's a problematic thing that you just said for yourself. That doesn't like then make the other stuff normal.
But what I'm saying is like him just forgetting about like a date in general until reminded, and she's freaking out on him over it.
Oh, and I think like had it been this like really appropriate scene of like her not being dramatically upset, but just being like a little bit quieter, and he's like, Nat, what's going on? It's mom's death anniversary.
Yeah, that would have been more believable.
And then it's like I'm not mad at you. I'm just gonna take a minute by myself. And then we cut to the beautiful scene of him watching the videos and crying.
Yeah,
because of like the remembering of like the life that he had and everything that he lost. Incredible.
This is also a different episode that y'all already talked about.
So. Yeah, we did.
Well, we talked about Natalie in general, and I think the problem with Natalie is that's
Natalie
the most
had a little
egregious
moment.
One. Yeah,
she had a little moment in this episode too, where it's like, what are you doing here? But other than that, the cast is incredible. Jordan from like the last day, he didn't have a single speaking role in one of the 2 episodes we watched. And the first one, he had one sentence: Where's my dad? Do you know where my dad is or not? And then that was it. That's all he said. But then our Jordan, badass. Oh my God.
I'm waiting for our Jordan to fight Evil John. Like full on fight Evil John.
Did you finish the episode, Ben?
Did I? Hold on. Your face tells me maybe I didn't.
I don't think you finished the episode.
Wait. Oh, God damn it. I was all caught up in this bullshit, too.
Come on, man.
You missed the climax of the episode?
There's like a big reveal at the end.
There's a big reveal. Exactly what you just asked for happened.
Truth and consequences. Mm-hmm. God damn it. I didn't watch Truth and Consequences. I'm halfway through it.
Halfway through.
I started watching the show called Outer Ranges on Amazon Prime.
Do your job.
Should I? Benny just disappears for the rest of this. He just turns off his camera so we can.
Yeah, what do we want to do?
You guys enjoy. You guys enjoy. I'll see you later. Goodbye.
Okay.
He just didn't. Okay, so Benny brings up the point of he can't wait for John and Jordan to fight. Bizarro John versus our Jordan. They have a little kerfuffle when he pulls up. John smacks the shit out of Jordan, and then Jordan's like, by the way, I just got stupidly powerful, and I'm okay with it. Like, I know originally they were like, he'll never be as powerful as a full-blooded Kryptonian. I'm sorry. I just saw some Kryptonian full-blood ass whooping. That's what I just watched. And it was awesome.
Jumped and started flying.
He did.
Pretty cool.
And he couldn't fly because he fell, which I love that, like, he still doesn't know how to control it.
He's still learning.
But his scenes are so, like, it's like the full-budget 2022 version of, like, what Smallville looked like when Clark would do that in that show. And it's so satisfying to see. And I think that actor brings like a legitimate, like it's joy. Like the joy in his eyes when he gets to do those scenes carries over to like the joy of Jordan getting to use his powers. And Jonathan finally getting some agency, like getting to do some stuff. I feel like him as an actor hasn't gotten to like do as much as everybody else because he doesn't have powers. He doesn't have like his own centric storyline. So it's been awesome. I've been a big fan of it. I think the drama's been a little rough here and there.
Yeah. I think that's
better and worse.
One thing I'll say about like Jordan's acting is whenever he's confronted with like drama, he doesn't do as well. Like his scenes with when he was being broken up with by Sarah, and he was like, "Are you breaking up with me?" I was like, "Uh-oh." maybe a few more. Maybe a few more in the bank for that one. Before
my suspension of disbelief on that one is that he's just like an awkward teenager, and you know, and like within reason, I could totally watch an awkward teenager being like, "What, are you dumping me?" Like,
It's an easy like thing to say is like with a lot of the plot points I'll forgive that with like weird drama and stuff, but when you're, acting is like different, but
there was some intense tension happening with Lois in that episode, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That was better.
Yeah, there was something happening in the same scene. Like Jordan or Jonathan comes down, says something angry, like tell everybody the secret, like tell them the secret. We're tired of this. And then Jordan's like, "Why'd you talk to Sarah?" It took me out. I was laughing so hard, but I get it from his perspective. And then he gets really calm. He goes, "Just tell me before you do something, Mom."
And then they resolve it. And Lois isn't like, "I'm your mom. I could do whatever I want." Like she's just like, "Yeah, you're right. You're so right." And then they resolve it. That's what I love about this show. It's like it's so reasonable in a world of CW shows where like no one is ever that way, and this show comes along and it's
everybody
like, no,
is screaming about nothing.
Yeah, we're gonna be normal,
I have to review The Flash,
people.
Dylan. You don't have to.
Yeah, I know.
So you don't even know what kind of mental fucking anguish I go through week to week on that show.
I've been through stuff. I've put in my time.
I hate it so much. But no, Superman and Lois, that fight scene at the end was amazing. Whenever they use effects in shows, every once in a while flying looks wonky, but like 9 out of 10 times this looks just as good in my brain as like Man of Steel did. And no, it doesn't, because that was a multi-million-dollar budget, but like how are they doing effects this good on the same network that has The Flash? Like CGI PlayStation 2 Barry Allen running through computer generated city over and over and over. Like the show looks incredible and the actors are doing their job. I love Sam Lane. Like I think he's been so much fun on the show. Lois's dad. He plays it so straight laced. And then we had the redemption arc of, what was his name? Anderson?
Yeah, Anderson. Yeah, he's so good. Since episode 1 of this season, I've been like, this is something. Like this is a really good actor, and they're doing something interesting here. And I think that redemption of like in Bizarro World of him seeing like oh, Superman is like a good person. I should have like trusted him because he's Superman. It's like his like ego. He got ego checked by going to Bizarro World. It's like, okay, cool. This is neat. I like this.
Right, and dude, everyone getting powers is kind of fun. Like I think usually it's like a hack me bullshit plot point, but I love that we just got like a fucking super Kryptonians battling right now, but without it having to deal with the usual, like whenever Kryptonians get on screen in these shows, it's like it's a Kandorian who's been brought back from the brink and he from the Phantom Zone. It's always like some hack me bullshit about a planet like I honestly don't care about anymore because it's been gone for forever. This one's like, no, they're using kryptonite. They're human beings. I understand their stakes. I know what they stand for. I know how this is going to kill them long term using these powers. It's more interesting to me. Also, I'm just going to say this. The actress who plays Lana Lang, one of the top 10 most beautiful human beings that have just existed, I think.
You've said that every review.
And you know what? I'll say it every other review. Just like adult Nina Dobrev, but Nina Dobrev is obviously an adult herself too. But her as the Superwoman or whatever on the other Earth, it's very cool. I thought it was really cool. And her getting to like try out the powers and have her scenes, and bringing back Tal Rho was cool too. And that them actually having like a really brotherly love.
I think I wanted to get this criticism out because I didn't like episode 10 really that much at all. But it was mostly just because of the way that it was laid out. There's a good episode there. But what did you think about the way that they edited it?
I thought it was really, really weird, and that like I think I was watching it when I was really tired for part of it, and I was really thrown off by like I watched half the episode and then I watched the other half of the episode at a later time where I was even more tired, and I got confused. I was like, wait, didn't Superman, like I thought she was defending Superman. Right. Oh no, that's our Superman, not the Bizarro one. That's me not paying off attention, but I don't think that the episode should have been like I think the Jonathan flashback was essential, but you could just done a flashback and just show me the whole narrative instead of it being like character to character based.
That's why I think that it's really just an editing issue, because my problem with it is that you pretty much start with the climax of the episode, and then like you stay in the climax for a few seconds and then you cut back to something else. And when you do that, you're kind of taking the wind out of the sails of that moment. So I think what they should have done is just start the episode with the earliest point in the flashback and go linearly to that point, and then the midpoint is Superman finally getting through the portal. and then the rest of the episode plays out as normal.
That storylines like that only work if there's like a really intriguing mystery that is shown in the first couple seconds of like that, and that everyone has individualized perspectives that are simultaneously happening at the same moments. It was like Jonathan's thing was happening, and then Lois's thing was happening, and then this was happening in the flashback sequence, instead of it like being like, okay, Jonathan is doing this, and at the same time Lois is doing this, and this feeds into the greater, mystery of it all. But it didn't play out like that, so I think it was a weird decision as far as directing is concerned.
Very strange choice.
I didn't even see who the director of that was, because they've been doing some really cool directors from like the what do you call it? Elizabeth Henstridge from Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Dave Ramsey from Arrow, John Diggle, Amy Jo Johnson, the Pink Power Rangers from the 90s, has directed an episode of this season.
Tom Cavanaugh did a few in the first season.
Yeah, he did. I think he did one this season as well.
Interesting thing about this is like it's kind of hard to pin down who's responsible for a choice like that, because this could have been scripted this way. It could have been a directorial choice. It could have just been done in editing for some reason. But like the interesting thing is like I bet I could, with the material there, just literally pick stuff out, put it earlier in the timeline,
and make
and
it
then
a better
re-edit the episode. In a way
I'm looking at this director's credits, and no, it's his fault.
Okay,
I see enough of his credits to be like, if I have to pin blame, I simply think it's this guy.
Yeah.
I've seen these other things that he's done.
something like that. See, it like that's a very from the top thing. It's like a lot of people like when I don't think people realize how much like hands in the pie a director has, because people think of a director, and I think if you don't know much about filmmaking, you don't really know what that means. They just think like, oh, that's the guy who made the movie or whatever. But then, like, when you get in the nitty-gritty of it, it's like, well, if somebody else wrote the movie, then the director had nothing to do with the writing, which is just entirely untrue.
Yeah.
Same with editing, same with it. Like, they're the guy at the top who oversees everything else.
Right.
And if you're not having a hand in other things, you're a bad director.
You're a terrible director. And it's also like CW shows also have showrunners who sometimes function as directors every once in a while, but they have a vision for everything. So as a director coming into these shows, you have to bring the vision of the showrunner as well as the individualized writer, and it becomes a far more involved process. I think the showrunners of Superman and Lois actually do a wonderful job of it. I think Eric Wallace on The Flash needs to go write children's books or some shit. I don't know. Because he's so bad at that. He has no idea what he's writing anymore. And I always compare those two shows because they're on the same network. These actors have actually acted with each other as their characters.
This Superman started in Supergirl.
It did. So. And I loved him in that. I absolutely loved him in that. But...
Yes, Benny?
Yes, Ben?
So I finished the episode.
Okay, welcome back.
Have you been watching the whole time?
Everything I complained about at the beginning of this podcast, you need to cut out, Dylan, because
I'm leaving it in.
No, we all got to answer right there.
No, it's staying in.
You got to put something up that says that he is wrong, and he'll find out in 5 minutes.
Well, if they watch the whole video like they should, then
everything I was complaining about, them not finding John, not battling him, and all this stuff, it's all right there. Like, oh, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the ending of episode 9 and like the beginning of 10 is what I'm talking about.
So that's a good transition then, because we were talking about episode 10 mostly while you were gone. So let's move into episode
for
11.
Me, by ending it midway through 10, they were still looking for John, which is why I was annoyed. The fight sequences are great. I loved that. Editing was a little wonky going back and forth. I agree with that. The big reveal at the end of the episode, kind of long time coming, I think. But
so that's I wanted to talk
Superman
about that because
ever.
that's something that I really wanted to praise this episode for, and something that this show does really well when it's at its best is it is able to, I'm looking at you Disney Plus Marvel shows, it is able to have an episode feel like a self-contained episode and with a theme and an arc. And in this episode, in episode 11, it's all about Superman's secret identity and why he still holds on to it and how it affects other people in their lives.
Well, that was the whole point of this whole thing. Like the overlying problem, this whole entire area, which is something that comes up in Superman a lot, is by having your secret identity, you are causing problems. Here's what it looks like when you let it out. It's not all bad if you don't do drugs, but
but some of it, like, it has ripple effects, and that's something that, like, it was started in episode 10 and it informed this episode, but it's a question that was raised at the beginning and was answered at the end in one episode, and it is interesting, and the arguments between people who are on both sides are really expertly acted and written, and that's what I love about this show. This episode is fantastic.
When Lois played on Clark's side the entire fucking time, she was like, his secret, whatever, and then at the end he goes, guys, before I say anything, can I tell Lana? Yes, like a resounding yeses across the table. The way like Lois was so like so tired and was like, yes, Clark, yes, like because that's what it is. Like she's been wanting it, but she's backing her partner, which I love.
That was an interesting point for me because I feel like she was about to say not. The way that she said absolutely, and then John and Jordan cut her off, and I think she was gonna say no, and then she heard what her kids said, and she's been so against them for so long. She was like, fine.
I think it was the opposite. I think she's not against them at all. She just is like a good wife as far as like a good partner, and they make those decisions as like a partnership. So she doesn't have like a huge stake in Clark not telling people things. Like she was the one who asserted that he needed to when they moved to Smallville and all that stuff. Like that's how like that got like the wheels in motion of the show itself. And they've shown this, like Superman and Lois. It is a married couple and their kids, and the story reflects that. So I really think she was just like a weight was off her shoulders that she doesn't have to be the antagonist against her kids anymore because she's been agreeing with them the entire time. But it's just like, absolutely, yes, Clark, go do that. Like Lana is family. She's been here forever. She no longer has the weird half Latina, not Latina husband anymore. And like she's free. There's no Cushing to start stuff. So let's do it. Sorry, Cortez.
I didn't want to jump in because you guys mentioned about Jordan's acting. I feel like that actor is so all over the place. Like, because there are scenes where, like, when he got dumped, where it's like, dude, I get what you're going for, but I don't think you've ever cried on screen. But then his acting during the fight with Evil John, like getting his ass kicked,
I think it's chemistry.
The smirking, the way he knocks him out, like all of that was perfect. It felt great, and even his acting when he started to fall, like I'm like, oh, he's panicking. He is panicking and falling.
I think it's just like because Hassan, you were saying that he hasn't done much before this.
Has not.
And I think that's like, it's just learning to know your strengths as an actor. And this is coming from someone who doesn't act, but like it seems to me like, you know, chemistry between different people who you're on screen with, which like tough that you don't have chemistry with your girlfriend in the show, but like you watch The Flash, you guys get that.
Yeah. The Jordan, I forget her name, but the Jordan and her relationship, I've never been really Sarah. I've never been really interested in it outside of other than it's a MacGuffin to get Lana and all of them kind of more involved as to what's going on.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of chemistry, but like now, especially now that they're broken up, like they'll probably get back together. But who cares? Because like him and Jonathan. Yeah, any scene where they're being brothers and they're like writing it in a way that like feels so authentic, like that is the scene in this episode where John grabs the note from Jordan and teases him a little bit, but is like, no, I really want to read it. Like, calm down. Yeah. And then he reads it, and there's like a brotherly moment there where it's like, are you really gonna give her this?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, good for you, man. It's like, cool, healthy relationship.
It is, yeah. Their dynamic is so good. And then that whole episode where John wouldn't tell Jordan what was happening with the XK like a couple episodes ago, it was done well. It was like I couldn't, man. He's like, look, I am your brother. I have your back. It feels so real, and I just like want to applaud this show for doing that, because like I watch like regular TV too, like as in like I watch This Is Us, man. Like I watch like drama television.
I watch shitty sitcoms. I watched the latest episode of The Conners before this.
Dude, sometimes I watch The Good Doctor, so it's egregious what I've been doing, but I think This Is Us is like the epitome. If you guys haven't seen that, it's a drama, and it's incredibly, incredibly well written. It's their writers are so adept at what they've been doing, and they set out to do 6 seasons. The network begged for more, and they said, no, we have a 6-season story, and this is the final season we've been watching right now.
Nice.
But that acting is like they have a lot of brotherly dynamics in it, and it's written really organically. This is the first CW show I've ever watched where people feel like siblings. Like, remember Thea and Oliver? What the hell is that?
Oh, yeah.
Like Ollie.
There was chemistry, but it wasn't sisterly brotherly chemistry.
Stop, Benny. No.
Uh-oh.
I just met Steven. We're mutuals on TikTok now. I don't want him to see this.
And I do want to clarify, just so everyone knows, I watch a lot of shows for these channels and everything we're doing. And my wife won't watch them all with me. So sometimes they get left in the middle of, and I normally go back to it, and I didn't realize I didn't finish.
This episode's been out for like a week and a half.
I know, I was hitting you up because we were going to do it last Friday until we discovered Husson wasn't there. So I think what happened is I was watching it. Husson said he couldn't make it last Friday, and I'm like, I'll finish this later.
Just finish it then. You clearly had like 10 minutes left.
I was probably doing something that involves anime waifus in a video game. I don't know.
Yep.
But
that makes sense. That is very believable.
It does.
Anyway.
Cool.
Look, yeah, I think this show's great. I'm excited for the next several episodes. I'm ready for the finale wrap up. Like, I don't necessarily need like a ton more episodes of the storyline, but I think the way they've been doing has been really interesting. Like, the Allie Olsen girl's like actually scary now. Like, legitimately.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I hate her. I think she's stupid and boring.
I don't like her as an actress, but I think they made her imposing. That like
just like plot wise, she's powerful.
Yeah, she can do damage.
I'm interested in what they're gonna do with Lana. She just walked off. Evil Lana.
Yeah, that's what I'm more interested in. Like, this episode had none of like the villain in it, which like another criticism I had of episode 10 is like it really showed that they kind of didn't think about the Superman angle of the villain past Bizarro. Because Allie was the Lois villain, which is it's the same thing they did in season 1, where they split it and then eventually they came together. Good writing. But in this one, Bizarro turned out to be a good guy, and then they were just like, oh, I guess we just elevate this lady to be a Superman villain. It's like, okay.
I feel like it was their story thread the whole time. Like, it's what they've been planning, but it's a weird choice.
Probably. It is a weird choice. It's
a very, very strange choice. But also, like, I liked Anderson as the B villain for a little bit, and then he's so good. We talked about this earlier while Benny was gone, but like straight-laced military man right off rip, and then like he gets his development, his hair grows out, and I was like, oh, Anderson, you look good with longer hair too. Damn, you can look like a normal person.
He threw me off when he first showed up with the longer hair because I'm like, wait, who is that? And it took a minute to click. That's the military guy. What?
Yep. But overall, I'm a fan. I've been a fan of Superman and Lois since the jump. It's been my favorite thing. That initial pilot got me gripped of like their whole backstory and their whole little romance. And the show has hit punch after punch after punch. After a little bit of steady finding their footing in season 1, they found it. And I think this show's been incredible since.
That's just a trend with this show, because season 1, the first few episodes are not great, and then it gets real good. And in this season, there's been some stumbles also, but now we're like, especially with episode 11, like I'm fully back in. Like, this is a great show.
I've been back in. What I do is I wait to watch bulks of it when I know we're gonna review it, because otherwise I forget the episodes.
Well, you're in luck, because I'm pretty sure we're on hiatus again until the end of the month.
We are.
So.
Yep. So enjoy your break from Superman and Lois content.
It's all good because apparently Miss Marvel got announced today. It's in a month. So
in a month? Oh no!
A month?
The trailer dropped today. It comes out in a month.
They said, "Uh-oh, people didn't like Moon Knight." Next one.
People loved Moon Knight.
It announced today. The date is in a month.
Joking.
Obi-Wan won't be done yet.
Loved it. Obi-Wan won't even be done. They're
No.
airing it simultaneously.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe they just don't believe in Miss Marvel then, which also, fair.
Yeah, no, Kevin Feige just did a whole thing. He talked about the powers, and he's like, I know they look visually different. It's like, dude, that is the grounds of the whole character.
Yeah.
Like,
our Twitch chat, because if you like watching us and want to interact with us live, join us at twitch.tv/comicstorian. We've started to film these live every Monday and Friday around 12 p.m. Eastern. But they're calling me out saying, Benny also forgets how to finish an episode. You know what? Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
All right, we got to wrap up.
I can't believe it.
We do. I'm like lost in these comments now because they've all said things that I want to say stuff about.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's episode of Absolutely Marvel and DC. I apologize to all of you who watched the intro and started berating me in the comments because Dylan wanted to leave it in.
Thanks for the engagement.
No, leave the whole thing in.
Comments.
It's actually awesome.
I am.
That's...
To be honest, you guys were so confused. I'm like, they didn't bother doing this and that. And you guys were like... Really? All right.
It's amazing. And that, like, look, we have our own little narrative in this episode of Absolutely Marvel and DC that they will love. People will bookmark that and go back to it.
All right, anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I'll see you next time right here.